Hello, welcome to Boosting You, your ultimate wellness platform. I'm Dr. Sue Peacock.
And I'm Shirley McLean.
So I thought today then we could talk about, beyond bubble bath, what is self-care? What does it really mean? And more importantly, why does it matter?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been thinking a lot lately about self-care. It's such a buzzword now, isn't it? But I feel like people are still a bit confused about what it really means.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Shirley. I think, social media sort of painted this lovely glossy picture of self-care, isn't it? Candles, bubble baths, face masks. And whilst these things are nice and smoothing and quite relaxing, they're really just a really tiny piece of that puzzle.
Exactly. And just it's funny actually because I've got my candle on even as I do this because I like to just set myself in the mood as well.
Mm.
you know and I had a client the other day actually. I've been doing self-care. I had a glass of wine and a bath, but then she added, I still feel overwhelmed and exhausted, and I thought, yep. And that's the bit we're not talking about enough.
It's a nail on the head, doesn't it? Because true care often looks more like sort of setting boundaries, saying no, asking for help. Even doing boring things like turning off Netflix and getting to bed on time. It's the kind of grown-up, uncomfortable sort of stuff that we have to do.
Absolutely. And from the hypnotherapy side, I find often people don't believe that they're worth proper self care.
Mm.
So we start with, like, unpacking the scripts that they've absorbed. I don't have time, or I'm being selfish if I rest. And these things run deep.
They do, absolutely. I think we have to kind of see self-care as almost a form of sort of self-respect, really, don't we? It's not indulgent, it's actually foundational, isn't it? Just like brushing your teeth isn't selfish, it's taking care of your mind and your energy isn't either. It's maintenance, it's not luxury.
Oh, I love that. Maintenance, not luxury. That should be on a mug. And you're right. It's the cumulative effect of small, consistent choices, which we have touched on many, many times before, but we know repetition is that skill. And this is why we keep going over things again. So it's not just the occasional spa day when you're already burned out. It's not that.
No, it's not that, is it? It's actually it's only when we kind of frame self-care as kind of pampering. People who are struggling with stress or pain or mental health issues often feel quite excluded by that. They think, I can't afford that, I don't have time for that. So they kind of disengage.
Yeah. And actually, when you break it down, self care might be something as simple as noticing how you're feeling, without judgment, or planning a proper lunch break instead of just grabbing crisps at 3 p.m.
Exactly. The psychology of self-care is often about sort of emotional awareness and regulation, isn't it? It's not just reactive, it's preventative, isn't it? And when people kind of learn to sort of tune into their needs before the crisis hits, it's a game changer.
Yeah, I often talk about building a self care foundation. So
Mm.
when life gets wobbly, because it will, it's that pendulum, isn't it? It can't always be good, you
No.
know, but it's how we transition through that time as well. Because what happens when we have that self care foundation is you've got something solid to stand on. And sometimes that means developing a few go to tools like breathing techniques again that we've mentioned before, or visualizations that you can use anywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. These tools are building that resilience, isn't it? And here's the thing: the more you practice sort of self-care in the quiet moments, it's much easier, isn't it, to reach for it when the storm comes. But often we wait till we're kind of running on empty.
Yeah, it's a bit like trying to fix the roof in the middle of a thunderstorm, isn't it?
That's a perfect metaphor. I'm keeping that one.
You're welcome. But seriously, I think we need to reclaim self-care, and the hashtags, and really root in that self compassion and consistency. It's not a treat, it's a habit.
Absolutely. And I'd love to see people asking themselves, what do I really need today? Not just what looks good on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. And
Yeah.
sometimes the answer is just to rest, isn't it? Sometimes it's movement, sometimes it's calling up your friend and having a chat, sometimes it's saying no to something.
Yeah. It's permission, isn't it? Permission to prioritize your own needs without guilt and to be flexible because what you need today might not be the same as what you need tomorrow.
Yeah, that's spot on, isn't it? And that's where, you know, psychology, hypnotherapy, all of those kind of things can be so valuable, can't they? Helping people explore those internal barriers and beliefs and help them learn to tune into themselves again. So self-care becomes sort of a felt sense rather than just something to add to your to-do list.
Yeah, love that. Love that. So, if someone's listening and wondering where to start with all of this, if you're new to boosting you, because I know we've done little threads of this before, but we're going to keep repeating and building on what we've done, what would you say is the first step?
I would say start with noticing, even if you just carve out sort of 5 minutes during the day to just check in with yourself and think, ask yourself, well, how am I feeling? What do I need right now? No judgment,
Mm.
just awareness, because awareness is the beginning of everything.
Yeah, and that's perfect. And I'd add, give yourself permission to matter because you do, and your needs are valid. And that's the heartbeat of real self care.
Oh, that's so nicely said. That's brilliant. So thanks for the chat then, Shirley. Always refreshing, always lovely to catch up with you.
And likewise, Sue. So let's keep flying that flag for real self care, uncomfortable bits and all.
Yes, let's
And
push
I'll
on.
see you all again soon. So it's bye from me.
It's bye from me.